Hello, hello, everybody. We made it. We made it to Friday. I already see a bunch of you here in the chat saying such nice things. Happy Friday. Thank you so much, Savannah. It's like I said, I mean, Pop Chat as this live stream has been back in this format since January, and can't believe we're coming up on like 6 months of this format and this show. And I'm so happy to see that you all have kind of made it your Friday ritual. I hope it's your favorite day to cap off your week. Hey, Kayla, loved your new podcast episode. Alexa's here, Paula, and Paige from Hootsuite. Let's jump in and get started. And since Paige is here, we've also just got to invite the whole Hootsuite team and welcome them. They are back. And we're going to do another giveaway. So you are in the right place. It's going to be a lot of fun. So say hello to our friends from Hootsuite. And let me get their logo up here. Hold on. Hold the phone. We have got to get that going. But yes, Paige and Margaret and Darian are in the chat. And it's going to be a good time. So fingers crossed for that giveaway. Hey, Kyle. Good to see you. I know. This year is flying by. It really is. I hope you all are excited about your summer plans. You have some cool things coming up. Yay. Hey, Darian. So great to see you all. So if you're here, of course, say hello. You're already doing it. You're already sharing these happy Friday good vibes, which we love to see. But tell us who you are, where you're joining from, and what you do. It's always a great bunch here at Pop Chat. If you're new to the show or if you're here just lurking and listening, jump on in. But I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Brienne Fleming. I have been hosting this chat for 5 years now because I love marketing and pop culture. I also am an academic. I teach branding and social media at the University of Florida. I do some consulting. I also host a podcast called Making the Brand and just always making things. I'm also a mom of one who just turned one, and I live in Jupiter, Florida with my husband, Sandy. So that is me in a nutshell. And Pop Chat, what is it? It is a fusion, a happy little fusion of marketing, pop culture, and we come together for those two things, and the byproduct is a great community of marketing professionals who also love music and movies and sports and TV, all these things that we're really big fans of, and we get to bond over. So it's just the most fun way to connect. And I've seen some really amazing things happen beyond the show where you all have connected and found jobs thanks to people you've met through Pop Chat or have met up in real life. It's really amazing to see. We've got Erica from New York. Yes, one of our past winners of the Hootsuite giveaway. Happy to see you here again, Erica. She is a senior social media specialist at Avenue CX. Yes, making some new connections. So like I said, beyond the show, message each other, say hello, send those connection requests. We want to keep all this all these good vibes going. Brianna is here. Happy Friday. Alexa from Seattle. She's a brand and product marketing consultant for B2B and B2C SaaS brands. Awesome. So how it works. First of all, be you. There is no authority here. Whether you're a CMO or an intern or just someone who loves pop culture, this is a place for all of us to connect and share our thoughts and reply and just have fun. It's Friday after all. So let's have a good time with it. And my icebreaker question for you today is, what's a toy you begged your parents to buy you? That toy when you were a kid that you had to have, you were begging them, maybe it ended up under your Christmas tree or you got it for the holidays. But what is that toy that you would just not let them hear the end of it? For me, I'm going to reveal mine on the next slide, but I want to see some of your answers first. And this question was inspired by the Labubu craze, which we're going to get to. So stay tuned for that. Kayla from Sacramento. She is a director of digital strategy at Two Trees, which is a digital marketing agency. Kayla, you're entirely remote in that role, right? Let us know if you're ever hiring over there. We've got some talented folks in the chat. Oh, a Game Boy Color. Oh my goodness. Did you get it? Did your parents pull through? Ray is here. A G1 Jetfire. What is that? A Furby. Yes, a Furby. My dad was in New York and he ended up snagging a Furby for me at FAO Schwarz, which was really awesome. The Roboraptor, Darian says, sounds really cool. Is it a transformer? I don't know. This is my blind spot. What's a Roboraptor? I'm so intrigued. But yes, the Furbies and the Lulu, what are they called? Lulu Barus. I heard Barus. I don't know. It's on my slide. But they kind of look like Furbies. Rachel's here. She's going to try to multitask. I can appreciate that. From Massachusetts. She works at a PR agency at the intersection of traditional PR and content marketing. Love to see it. Transformers. Yes. Yes. All those. Kayla is hybrid. Okay, very cool. Really, any Barbie, so I could give her one of those wild haircuts like I did my own bangs. Yes, this is a millennial rite of passage. And speaking of Barbie, thank you for the segue, Savannah, because my must-have that I just gave my parents hell for, and they did pull through, was I wanted a Gigapet, not a Tamagotchi, not a Nano. I was team Gigapet. And I think it's because they were the ones that did these pop culture crossovers. I had to have the Barbie Gigapet. I actually had the cat version. This is the dog. I still want one of these. I don't know what happened to mine, but if you've ever, if this was ever your first pet or your first time having to be a responsible child, let me know if you had one of these. Tickle Me Elmo, such a craze. Jetfire was a transformer. Okay, got it. Good. We love to see when the parents can swing it and pull through. American Girl doll, hands down. I begged and remembered clearly the Christmas when I finally got a doll. Then in college, I worked as a doll hairstylist. Tell me more about that. And maybe there's a room for Savannah if that's her calling. Too funny. And I've never told anyone this, but this is my time to confess because this is my show and I'm just, whatever. I'm going to confess this. That one time I found a 101 Dalmatians Gigapet. I was at a car dealership with my parents and someone left it and I didn't turn it in. I should have turned it in looking back on it because there was someone that lost their Gigapet. So that is wisdom. If I could go back in time, I would have turned it into the lost and found, but I've never confessed this to anyone. So please don't judge me. It was a mistake. And I hope whoever that was is doing well. Team Gigapet here too. I had a translucent yellow cat one. Yes, I went down a rabbit hole on eBay looking at these yesterday. They are still so cute. And I saw that one. The translucent technology packaging of the late 90s, early 2000s, like the Game Boy Color, that was just such a vibe. Brats, yes. Were brats hard to get? Thank you, Savannah. Thank you so much. I feel so much better getting that off my chest. Rachel said, I worked at the Boston American Girl store in the hair salon. I did doll hair, pierced doll ears, etc. It was an amazing retail job and I had so much fun. That does sound like a good time. What a cool job. All right, keep sharing if you have any toys and you want to go down memory lane, but let's go through today in pop culture history. I hope you all are aware of this, that it's Take Your Dog to Work Day. So if you're in a corporate office right now, or in an office, I should say, let me know if you brought your dog, or if you work remotely. Every day is Take Your Dog to Work Day, but we don't see this enough. It's Take Your Dog to Work Day. It's also Ice Cream Soda Day, so treat yourself, and Vanilla Milkshake Day. So lots of sweet treats going around. And you all should know this. Tomorrow is National Selfie Day. So plan your post, think about it, share a selfie. It's a good kind of storytelling moment. Never heard of Gigapets, but I'm sure you've heard of Tamagotchi and Nano. Yeah, These were the ones that Tiger Electronics did, and I don't know, I like them better. Beanie Babies, yes, such a collector's item. All right, now we're gonna do our pop culture rewind, and I just love that this event was even recorded in my little pop culture history database that I use. It has been 1 year. I kind of hate to bring this up, but it's such a funny meme now. It's been 1 year since Justin Timberlake got arrested for his DUI and said, "This is going to ruin the tour," which was an iconic meme last year. Um, and the officer who arrested him didn't know who he was. And he was like, "What tour?" He's like, "The world tour." And there were memes and merch and everything that said, "This is going to ruin the tour." So that was a fun time over on X. And I think the tour ended up okay. So it's all good. And then on this day in 2006, Shakira got her first #1 song with Hips Don't Lie. And it also broke the record for the most played pop song in a single week when it aired on American radio 9,637 times. I know. Where is the time going? This is going to ruin the tour. But yes, 1 year since that moment. What a fun meme. Okay, so let's get into trending topics. And speaking of memes, our first trend that we're talking about is just another little mini meme that I saw playing out on X. It's this format where you say, "I asked ChatGPT this, I asked Grok that. Well, I asked," and then you fill in the blank. So let me just show you some examples. "I asked Grok, I asked ChatGPT. Well, I asked 100 people to name something you might buy at an airport. Top 6 answers are on the board." We love a Family Feud reference. "I asked Grok, I asked ChatGPT. Well, I asked the traffic lights if it'll be all right, and they said, I don't know." That one's for my Swifties. And then Disney lovers, "I asked ChatGPT, I asked Grok. Well, I asked the grinning bobcat why he grinned." I'll spare you. I won't sing again, I promise. But this is just a fun topical way for us to talk about AI because our sponsor Hootsuite has a question for you about AI. And that is, what parts of your creative process do you feel are enhanced, not replaced by AI? I'll give you a second to think about this one. What parts of your creative process do you feel are enhanced, not replaced by AI? Oh my gosh, do we need a team? That would be so funny. I've had people say we should go on Pop Culture Jeopardy together. Yes, the most honest hips in the game. The one and only Shakira. They would never lie. I was thinking about this question myself, and I use AI a lot to write descriptions for podcast episodes. And I feel like that's just something that is very straightforward. A podcast description is just purely informational. It's what the episode is about. Give me the details, give me a summary, entice me with what you want me to listen to. And I don't feel like that's really a type of content where I'm losing any opportunity to like show my personality. Like I don't feel like I'm being replaced by a robot. You get my true personality in the episode and live and things like this. So I feel like that's a great use of AI that just gets the information out, helps me distill, a 60 or 30-minute episode down into just the details and really summarize it in a way that's not like, "Oh, I wish she didn't use AI for that," because I feel like I don't know her, or I feel like this is a chance for me to know the host better. It's very informational. So that would be my answer. Erica says being able to repurpose content. Erica, tell me more. What do you do? Do you take a blog post or something and put it in Chat GPT and ask for it to kind of elaborate on it or distill it down? Being able to create high level summaries from data quickly. Yeah. See, similar to what I was saying, Kyle, with like descriptions. It's like just taking a larger episode or a larger piece of content and just getting to the nitty gritty of it. And organizing it better. I love that. Kayla says ideation, taking my starter ideas and fleshing them out, or giving me starter ideas when I'm stuck. Yes. Big fan. I don't know what I did before, especially, being like a solo creator. You don't have a chance to bounce ideas very often. So if you can do that with AI, definitely. Breaking up content for multiple formats and platforms, and some brainstorming. This is interesting. A lot of you are saying that you use it for that, for repurposing and breaking things down. I'm trying to think if I've really done that. So if you have tips or examples, please share. Alexa says, outlining and brainstorming for my writing, it helps me cover all the bases and helps me fill in the gaps and cover topics I might have missed. I also love using it for research because it's super straightforward and you don't have to deal with the SEO ranked content. Yes, although I know they say that that's hurting a lot of websites and bloggers because people are going straight to ChatGPT for answers, and there's, we have to adapt. Thank you for the reminder. Adapt our SEO for that. Kayla says also data proofing and editing things. Let me check with my team. The team is ChatGPT. Yes. Sometimes ChatGPT is my doctor, which probably isn't really good. Ray says creating better grep strings, GREP strings in the InDesign find and change. Oh, interesting. I need to know what that is. Can you tell me more, Ray? I'm not familiar with that. But I'm intrigued. Benjamin's here. He says, I'd say ideation. It's sometimes helpful to get my ideas out of my head and then being able to build off of what is given if I like it. Yeah, Benjamin, do you or does anyone here, do you ever record a voice note for ChatGPT? Sometimes I'll be doing that. Like I'll be, I don't know, in the morning just getting ready for my day and I have an idea. I'll just describe it to ChatGPT and ask for help, fleshing it out or elaborating on it. Let me know if any of you use voice. I use a tool called Queso that helps create short clips, but it also features a chatbot powered by AI that allows for repurposing podcast and webinar content into graphics and other forms of content. It could also work at ChatGPT with a transcript and just asking for ideas for graphics, etc. Oh, speaking of that, just a vent here. I wish there was a really good way for me to repurpose pop chat clips from this stream in a vertical reel format. There isn't so far, at least unless it's extremely manual with taking the square of my video and then the square of the question and putting them on top of each other. And then when the answers come up, it it clouds both of them. It's a big problem, but I really wanted to chop up clips, but not manually. Yes, a lot of thoughts on AI and SEO. Canva's magic tool to help generate graphics and chat GPT for memes and content ideas. Love it. Ray says GREP lets you do text manipulation so that you can style text coming from different sources to match the layout. InDesign and those tools, I mean, they are just so smart, and the way they can all be interconnected and that you can do stuff like that is really cool. I haven't opened InDesign in a while, I admit. I used to be really proficient. Canva's made it too easy for me these days. Anne says, I've started to use the live voice chat with Gemini on my phone, talk out ideas while I'm all alone working from home. Yeah, or while you're driving, though I don't condone that. But if you just have like a quick idea that you want to just get out and just kind of, just explain it versus write it, I found it sometimes easier. All right. Thanks for your thoughts on that. Love this question from Hootsuite. And it sounds like, it's for the better that there's so many ways that we can enhance our work with AI. And I loved hearing all of your ideas. So thank you. All right. Here's what it's called. Labubu. Lababu. No, it's Labubu. That's a typo on my end. See, I can't get it right. It is Labubu, which is a toy, as you can see here, a little bit more evil looking than a Furby. But it was created by an artist named Casing Lung, and it's sold by Pop Mart in what they call blind boxes. So for $7, you get a box and you don't know which one is inside. So we kind of love that element of surprise and mystery. And just this month, one of them sold for $150K, making it one of the priciest toys ever at auction. But I heard it was a life-size version. So I still don't know if that's worth $150K, but celebrities like Rihanna, David Beckham, Dua Lipa, and Lisa from Blackpink have all been seen with their Labubu dolls. And it's become a bit of a flex for collectors and a status symbol. And a lot of the conversation is saying that it's not just a toy, it's art. So see, I can't get it right. More like that's terrifying. Yeah, I don't even want one. Why would I spend that much on it? But they're not even cute. I don't know. They're scary. They are scary. $20 to $27. They were originally priced at $7. That's what I heard. But yeah, 20 to 27 sounds better. Fake ones going around. Yeah, what a craze. So, like I said, it's become a bit of a status symbol to have one of these things. So my question for you with your marketing hats on is, how do you turn your product into something people want to show off? Maybe not necessarily turn it into a status symbol, but make it something that people want to share, make it something that people want to show others that they got, something that they want to create UGC for. What is it about a product? How do you turn it into something that is extremely shareable and makes people want to tell all their friends about it? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And I think having celebrities like Rihanna or David Beckham kind of kick things off might help. But for everyone else, how do you turn your product into something people want to show off? I will start off by saying there is a book called Contagious by Jonah Berger. If you've read that, let me know. And he has this idea where he says if something is built to show, it's built to grow. And he talks about finding ways to make your product extremely visible. So the example he uses is, how Livestrong bracelets took off because they were yellow. They were something you wear on your wrist, something very visible and distinctive for people to see. Or he talks about Christian Louboutin shoes, how simply making the bottoms of the shoes red made them built to show, made them very visible, and therefore built to grow. So I think that's interesting. Yeah, I'd hate to see that lurking in my house, especially if I paid hundreds or thousands of dollars for it. I would be pretty resentful. Monique is here. She says, play on their nostalgia and give them a way to personalize. That's really cool. Yeah, because then it's like you're not showing off. We're not all showing off the same thing, but it has our personal flair attached to it in some way. Benjamin says, with Labubu, thank you, they're keychains. So making your product wearable helps to make it a show-off item. I don't know that I realized they were keychains. Let me go back. There must be different sizes. I'm very confused. Although, yeah, you're right. Up here at the top, there is a little key ring. How big are these things? If it's a keychain, it must be like that big. I thought they were more like a Furby size. Kayla says it does remind me of the backpack keychain trend in the early 2000s when all the kids had a hand sanitizer and at least 6 different keychains attached. Yes, like the lanyard like geckos that we used to make. Or why did we all have rabbit's feet? That was kind of weird. Is it just my school? Paige says, I like the fact that they're in blind boxes, which creates some mystery and anticipation, not just for the person opening it, but the viewers who watch the video. Yeah, you're right. That is really smart of them. It makes, it takes the element of surprise. Yeah, not just for them, but they could do this whole unboxing and people will be curious to see which one they got. And it kind of goes back to what Monique was saying, which is personalization. Like we each get a unique version. So yeah, that in itself is really interesting. Alexa says, I think you go back to the traditional product placement strategy with celebrities, influencers, internet personalities, etc. There's also all the FOMO around that and makes you have to have it to be cool. That's also, yeah, in Contagious by Jonah Berger. He talks a lot about that, how we want to seem cool, we want to seem on trend, we want to seem in the know. And when you are doing things that are on trend, you naturally want to share it. So highly recommend that book. If you've read it, let me know. I don't have a Labubu because they're insanely hard to find right now, but I do have one of Mickey and Friends ones from Pop Mart. Benjamin, I want to see a picture of it. Please tell me. A high price point makes them exclusive, and if it's exclusive, people want to flex. That is for sure. And people these days, I mean, flexing happens on social. Not to sound like an old man yelling at a cloud. Oh, there we go, Rachel. Sorry, this looks like it might have been from the original question. Still mistrustful of AI. Haven't figured out how I want to use it for myself yet. Well, hopefully this, first of all, that's totally valid. And hopefully the conversation on question 1 sparks some ideas. Paige says it's similar to mini brands where you don't know what you're going to get. So that's fun and you want to record yourself. Yeah. Yeah, you want to do a little unboxing and share it. Margaret says the packaging and unboxing experience can play a big part. Blind boxes, tech, makeup, etc. Yeah, and I'd never heard of the term blind box. I've been familiar with kind of the surprise, you don't know what you're going to get type of approach to packaging, but I didn't know it had a name. So maybe I'm alone on that. If you learned something today, let me know. Monique says it also creates a level of community where you can trade for something you want. Keep buying till you get your chaser. I love that example. It's kind of like buying, like baseball cards or basketball cards or some kind of collector's item where you just get a bunch inside and you don't know what your mix is going to be. Kyle says make a product people want to show off and build social currency. Make it visually iconic, tie it to identity, add exclusivity, and create shareable moments. People share what makes them feel unique early and part of something others want in on. Yeah, Kyle, I think that is just, it makes so much sense. First, make a product that's worth sharing. Make it a good product. And with Labubu, let me go back. I mean, they're so weird looking that I think that works to their advantage. It's not just like a normal teddy bear. So it goes back to what you're saying, that it feels like it's something unique and visually iconic, whether this is your style or not. Benjamin says, want to add that even fakes have become like a thing. People on Reddit love posting about how they got their first Lafufu. Oh, I love that. You guys are on fire with this one. Another thing blind boxes and designer toys in general do well is create limited releases, so you feel like you have to buy many or you'll never see them again. Oh man, this is bringing me back to when the Spice Girls released the Spice Girls dolls and the Spice Girls lollipops, and you had to get all 5. You couldn't just get, one Spice Girl. It's a lot. Having a secret and rare version that's limited, I'm sure we'll see that. Spotify Wrapped reminds me of this, actually. Oh my gosh, so shareable, so personalized. And it's kind of like your blind box because you don't really see your stats until the end of the year. So great conversation on this, guys. Thank you. Keep sharing your thoughts if you have them, but we are moving on to the Call Her Alex documentary, which I have not watched. I was chatting with Kyle about it. He highly recommends it. Alex Cooper is the host of the incredibly successful podcast called Call Her Daddy, which was on Spotify. Then she got a deal with Sirius XM, a mega podcast deal, just a total trailblazer. And she has just been making videos and making content her whole life. And that's always been a part of her, something she loved. But her show really started taking off when she was very open about, I guess you could say, her sexcapades. And she had a lot of critics, like personal friends and family, saying like, what are you doing? Like, this is so weird. You're putting all your business out there. Yeah, watching tonight, no spoilers. Okay, sounds good. So but she's stuck to it, and she was just authentically herself, and look where she is now. Been listening to her podcast for years. Awesome. I'm not a Call Her Daddy fan, but it's so good. So it's interesting, Alexa. So now that you weren't a Call Her Daddy fan, but now that you watched the documentary, does it make you want to support the show? Or does it make you more inclined to listen? That happens to me all the time. Like, I'll be like, "Ugh." And Billie Eilish is my example. I was like, I don't really like Billie Eilish. This was years ago. Um, I don't know. She's just not my speed. I think she's trying too hard, whatever, judgment I cast on her. And then I saw her on Carpool Karaoke, and I was like, she is so down to earth and fun and sweet. And now I'm a fan. So it's interesting how kind of seeing people and learning their true story can turn you into a fan. So that's just a long way of me asking you, Alexa, if that's kind of changed your thoughts and if you'll listen to it. But anyway, let's get to question 3. As a creator, how do you keep confidence when your vision isn't popular yet? This can be both for a business setting. If you have an idea that you don't really have buy-in from, decision makers yet, or key players involved, but you're confident in the idea, but you have nothing to show for it yet. You haven't launched it. So how do you keep confidence when your vision isn't popular yet, either as, an employee or as a creator yourself? The doc is so good. The glug glug, what's that? What did I miss? The story always sells. It is so true. And, it just shows that we want to see the human side of people, the person behind the music, the person behind the show. So we love it. Not a huge podcast listener regardless, so I don't think I'll tune into her show, but I am loving her IG and TikTok content. So would you say you're a fan now, Alexa? A fan of her personally? Making their own version. I love the sidebar conversations happening in here. Please keep that going. So as a creator, how do you keep confidence when your vision isn't popular yet? Kyle says, put blinders on and just create. No one's opinion matters but yours. Yes. Keep it going. You have a vision, you have a goal, you see the light. And it's like every great idea is something that, people might think you're crazy for. It's like something that hasn't been done, something that's unconventional. Yes. My wife says that I'm daft and that is my strength. There you go. Get you a hype person. And Ray, you're going to like the TikTok trend that we're going to discuss later in the show. Influencer and celebrity marketing. I just experiment and try other content ideas. Always a good idea to experiment. And Alexa says, I think focusing on the little wins is helpful. Like anytime someone comments or replies to you, you know that you're making a difference and your work is resonating. Yes, it's kind of proof of concept. And if any of you follow Amanda Natividad, she posted something really interesting once saying that more likely than not, your friends and family probably aren't your audience. Like, I don't invite my personal friends. I mean, you all are my friends, but I have a close group of girlfriends here in my neighborhood, and I don't invite them to this show. you know, they'd probably have fun, but they're not marketers. They're doing other things. They could come and probably hang, but I don't take that personally that, my close friends and family probably aren't my audience. You all are now my close friends who are my audience and like to geek out about this stuff just like I do. So I keep reminding myself that people will believe in it when it works. Yes, kind of like a you'll show them kind of thing. That always happens, huh? Exactly. Monique says, I don't think there's anything wrong with finding a similar product or community and trying to see what they're doing right and interacting with their online space to establish yourself. Yeah, kind of carving out your voice in that space that way. Alexa says, I would say I'm more of a fan now than I was. After seeing the doc, I was just surprised as how down to earth and normal she is compared to Lauren Bostic, who's gotten out of touch as she's grown. Yeah, that's always reassuring. Celebrities, they're just like us, as they say. So if you have more thoughts on this, please share them. But we're going to do a quick little New Music Friday. Benson Boone's new album, American Heart, came out today. And Kyle inspired me to share this with you all because he had this great post about how his new music video for a song called Mr. Electric Blue features all of the negative comments that people were saying about him online. And he just scatters them throughout that music video and turns them into shirts that say, one hit wonder, or there's some other, negative things, saying no more backflips, or a lot of people call him like a discount Harry Styles and all these negative things. And he turned that around and used it as fuel to create his new music video. I don't want his new album. I want his workout routine. Apparently, it's gymnastics. He's the guy always doing backflips at the Grammys and such, as I'm sure you all know. So we bring this up because it's proof that you can find, even in the negative comments in social listening, you can turn things around and turn them into something. So if you ever are seeing a negative narrative about you or your brand, you can turn it around, folks. So listen to American Heart. It is out today. And check out the music video if you want to see more about how he kind of used that negative sentiment to his advantage. And check out Kyle's post where he elaborates on it. So that's New Music Friday. And it's also Giveaway Friday. We are doing another Hootsuite giveaway. They are giving away 1 year of their advanced plan, which has a ton of really great features and social listening and all the things that we need and love. And for your chance to win, simply answer this question. What's the most underrated skill every social media manager should develop? And I'll give you a second to share that. Hootsuite is going to pick their favorite answer, and maybe you'll win 1 year of Hootsuite. The most underrated skill every social media manager should develop. Oh, Anne, I wonder if this would show up on one of his t-shirts. Careful what you say. You might end up with your comments in one of his music videos. Dude's music sounds like an Old Navy commercial. Oh, that's funny. Amy's here, last week's winner. She's loving her new Hootsuite plan. So happy to hear it. Congratulations. That is awesome. And Kayla, yes, Hootsuite, they are here to do their giveaway. And if you weren't listening, you might have missed it, that we have this cool Hootsuite sound effect. Ready? Isn't that cool? So share your thoughts. What's the most underrated skill every social media manager should develop? Erica says, being able to know SEO. I know I won before, but if I won again, I would give it to a friend. Thank you, Erica. Yeah, SEO is a good feather in the cap for social media managers. Savannah, I saw Benson Boone perform at Hangout Fest and can confirm he was fantastic live. Did you all know he auditioned for American Idol and self-eliminated and said, I'm going to do my own thing? Benjamin, I love this answer already. Honestly, just empathy, understanding how people feel and how they act. And no, it's not so you can take advantage and pull at heartstrings to sell a product. It's to be able to provide audiences with what they need and when they need it, because you understand who they are and their needs that arise. Yes, love this. Yes, big fan of that answer, Benjamin, and you worded it so beautifully. Using Hootsuite to find mean comments about Benson Boone and then go off on those people like a crazed fangirl. Oh, yes. That's sweet revenge. Giveaway. Hey, Chris, getting people from social to your email list. Ooh, yes, that is a skill. In fact, that is the main thing I talk about in my course, Chris, at the University of Florida. It's called Branding Using Social Media. And we talk about all the things to complement social and that there should be a goal to also drive them to other places. And we talk about SMS and email marketing and all those things. That is a big, major skill. Kayla, I love this one. Positive self-talk because people are so unhinged on the internet and it's difficult to remember that you're doing a great job. Trolls are just bored. And is it just me or are trolls always like these anonymous, like sunset profile pictures who are too cowardly to show themselves? So, yes, positive self-talk. And if you're working for a brand, remember that all the negativity, anything people say, do not take it personally. Alexa says, being able to say no. Everyone will want their content shared on the brand account. Sounds familiar, but not every piece of content is social friendly. It's all about negotiating and compromising so all the stakeholders are happy and feel like they are represented on the brand account while still reaching the goals of the strategy. Yes, and you're not saying no just to be mean. There's a strategic reason behind it. You kind of have to be the steward of the brand and know when to say no. So I love that. A book recommendation for this, there's a book called Verbal Judo. Highly recommend. Jason's here. He says, listening, your audience wants to tell you what they want and need. Marketing is no longer a one-way street. Yeah, and it's no longer something where you have to guess what your audience wants if you listen. It's a beautiful thing. The answers are out there. Monique says being able to capture a whole brand story and goals in tiny little blurbs. Ooh, yes. And telling that story over time through content. The internet is getting so mean. We're not mean in here, though, Monique. I'm glad you found us. And Chris, yes, a book rec. I have lots of them. Let me know. Chris is reading one book a week for the entire year. So, yeah, put Verbal Judo on your list. All right, keep sharing your thoughts on this for a chance to win. We will announce the winner later on in the day after the show's over. So look out for that post and any tags on that. But let's wrap up with some industry news. This is my favorite TikTok trend I've seen in a while. Let me know if you've seen this, but to summarize it, the trend is women protecting their partners. It's this trend where women have a boyfriend, husband, a partner that is very shy and introverted, but they have a very niche hobby or passion. And the women are using their channel to say, hey, my fiance wants to show you his golf clubs and you better say they're nice. Or my fiance wants to show you his plants that he's been working on all summer. Or, my fiance wants to show you his, Labubu collection. You better be nice. Here you go, honey. Go and tell everyone about your plants. And it's this really sweet way of seeing these very introverted men and partners come forward and very kind of timidly but passionately talk about their golf clubs or things that they love. And yeah, it's been so fun to see. Rachel has a thought on the last question saying no and boundaries. Social is a 24/7 channel that everyone has opinions on. Knowing which hills you want to die on will save you some frustration in the long term. That is true. Isn't it wholesome? I asked my husband if he wants to come on Pop Chat today and talk about his gosh, he has so many hobbies. Lately he's been really into making his own cocktails. It's kind of like his pandemic hobby. And he said thanks, but no thanks. But one day I'm gonna get him on Pop Chat to talk about this stuff. So yeah, it's so wholesome. Yeah, my husband, he does the golf thing. He's followed this TikTok guy that's he's probably going to kill me. There's a TikToker that talks about canned fish and sardines and how great they are and all these different ways to have them and all these cool places to get like these really unique sardines, and like you could travel and get a can of sardines. I don't know. It's a whole thing, but now he's gotten really into that. So there you go. What's his favorite cocktail? Probably a Negroni, I think. I think it's a Negroni. Shakerins. Okay, let me move on to the question though. So, what advice would you give to someone who's introverted but wants to share their passions online? Oh, the biggest thing, my husband plays guitar and he's an amazing singer, and I'm the only one who gets to enjoy his concerts. I really want him to make a TikTok and just play for people, but then he'd probably have all these fans and people falling in love with him. So, he's mine. So what would you say to someone who's introverted and wants to share their passions online? It's hard not to fall in love with someone when they play guitar, you know? It's very swoon worthy. What advice would you give to someone who's introverted but wants to share their passions online? What's your favorite cocktail, Amy? I am curious. Yeah. Shaker and spoon. That's where Amy works, right? Share your thoughts. I think the first thing I would tell someone who's introverted is that when you're sharing your content, you're doing it for yourself first. You're not doing it necessarily to build an audience. You're just doing it so maybe it reaches one person who likes what you do. And as long as you enjoy expressing yourself that way and it's an outlet for self-expression and not a platform that's just used to impress others, that is when, that's when you get a lot of magic out of it. So Aperol Spritz, great choice. Just get started. Very simple. Yeah, Amy, I want to hear more about Shaker and Spoon. Please tell the group. Um, Alexa says, I think find someone more extroverted, but who you trust to encourage you and give you a space to share their passion. Sometimes all someone needs is a push. Yeah, and that's the beauty of this trend, Alexa. So look out for it on TikTok. It's really great. It's just now I'm really curious if these these men will, now that they've gotten a taste of putting themselves out there like this, if they'll start their own channels. Paige says there's a community and niche for everything and people care what you share. It's so true. There's this viral sardine guy. There's a guy talking about canned fish that has thousands and thousands of followers, loyal followers who are actually going out and buying sardines. So there's a niche for everything. Rachel says, look for a smaller community versus feeling like you need to go big or go home. A subreddit, Discord, or Twitch channel might give you that more familiar, close place that doesn't feel as intimidating. That is a great tip. Like, you don't have to start your own channel right away necessarily. Like, share in these small groups in these low pressure ways and just get your feet wet and seeing what it feels like. Like Savannah is saying, take it slow. Pressure can ruin a passion quickly. That is true. Don't let it get to a point where it stops being fun. Yeah, like Monique said, use online communities to find your niche. Yeah, and just practice exercising your voice. I know. There's viral sardine people. So thank you. These are great insights, great advice. And I'm sure we all have that friend. As this group, we all are kind of chronically online. I know so many people, and I'm like, you should share this. My brother is a basketball coach who's always talking about basketball, always on the phone, always brainstorming, always has ideas. And I've been telling him, you need to build your brand as a coach and extend beyond this county that you're coaching in. And he's like, I don't want to give away my secrets. I'm like, you're not giving away your secrets. There's a way to do it. But some people, just like to keep it close to the vest. Kyle says it takes a lot to share passions online because we fear judgment. But what I remind myself is who cares what people say? You're sharing, they're not, and share without expectation. Yes, it's like that. Is it a Teddy Roosevelt quote? The one that Tom Brady always uses about being the one in the arena, how you can't criticize someone who's actually doing the work. Love it. Share without expectation is elite. Love it. Chris says, don't get hung up on the potential judgmental people online. You're definitely not the only one passionate about that thing. And people who are curious, it's worth clicking post to find your community. Yes. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And I would say that I found my community just because I was like, I'm going to share about, what the Spice Girls can teach us about brand purpose and girl power. And I'm like, this is ridiculous, but people who like pop culture and marketing might like it. So put yourself out there. It's worth clicking post to find your community. Well said, Chris. Okay. And lastly, Instagram has rolled out grid customization. Have you used this yet? You can now edit and rearrange your grid. So I'm curious, what are you going to use this for? What can be, some strategic use cases for rearranging your Instagram grid for a personal or business profile? Was this something we asked for? The article I read said yes, that this was a feature people wanted. I'm kind of the type of person that's like, I posted it in real time. This is also like a scrapbook and a diary of everything I've done. I don't want to rearrange it. But maybe for a business profile, there would be certain things I'd want to highlight, but it's kind of what pin posts are for. I don't know. I don't really get it yet. But if you have ideas, please share. Please share your thoughts. And I will also just wrap up and say some other Instagram features hot off the press are the fact that you can now show what you're listening to on Spotify. So very 2006, 2005 MySpace coded. And they're also sharing handwritten fonts. Paige says she doesn't have it yet. Amy doesn't have it yet. Well, once you do get it, do you see yourself using it? Do you see a use case? How would Hootsuite potentially use this, I wonder? Just pin all the ball pit interviews. Oops. Whoa, lots of comments. Erica says, I haven't used it yet, but maybe you can highlight more posts and make a collage. Instagram treasure hunts. Ooh, that's fun. Like rearranging things and telling people to search for them. Mostly for aesthetic, if you didn't plan out how the grid would look when you initially posted. But I'd love seeing like how scrappy people were and like the evolution of their grid. I'm excited to see what brands come up with on Instagram in the next few months. Me too. Rachel says, I don't really get it either, but that might be because I don't really look at people's grids often. Yeah, I thought we got to a place where we were like, oh, the grid doesn't matter. Aesthetics don't matter. We're okay with scrappy content, but now we're here. I feel like there are so many other features people want more. I feel like this will take a while to adopt since people are so used to seeing everything in chronological order unless it's pinned. Yeah, and I feel like no one's going to notice unless it's a new follower. But I feel like they go straight to the pinned post. So it's interesting. Chris says it's neat to plan your posts so they create a bigger picture in the grid, but a bummer when it gets ruined because of how posts line up. If this makes that easier, that'd be pretty neat. Yeah, that could be one way to accomplish it. Erica has an idea for Hootsuite. Hootsuite could do a giveaway with the post being moved around like a treasure hunt. Yeah, like Kyle said, that's kind of fun. Paige says, I feel like this feature is a bit late. This was a wanted feature when having an aesthetic feed was important. Now I feel like it's not that big of a thing. Yes, I agree. They need to do their social listening a little earlier and act faster. I think people look at the grid more than they're willing to admit, but I don't think people care about how it looks. Yeah, I look at the grid when I'm first deciding if I want to follow a brand, which I guess is a pretty important, intersection. Chris said we did a 12 days of Christmas set that created a 12-panel Christmas tree. Sucked when it was all wonky. Oh, yeah. But then are you going to be rearranging that for all eternity every time you post a new thing? I don't know. So yeah, lots of new features. They're clearly working on stuff, but I don't know if it's necessarily useful. We shall see. Like Monique said, we'll have to see how brands use this. Yeah, maybe this will be the resurgence of the aesthetic feed. Do we want that? I like the low pressure, non-aesthetic. Yeah, Kayla, no pressure. It was so much pressure. We shall see. All right, everyone. I do have to wrap up. Wrapping up a little early today. We didn't go over time, but that's good because my husband has a 2 o'clock and I have to take over baby duty. So I want to thank you so much for joining. Make sure you join next week. It is the last giveaway, the last Hootsuite giveaway for the foreseeable future. And also, I guess I'll share this here. The first Friday in July is the 4th of July. And then the next 2 Fridays, I'm going to be in Italy. I'm really excited. So no pop chat, at least the first 3 weeks of July, unfortunately. I'm sure I'll still be tinkering around on LinkedIn. I might just take off all of July and do like a little mini summer break since we've been at this since January. Thank you all, seriously, so much for the support since reviving this chat as a live stream. Thank you to Hootsuite. So join us for the last Friday in June for this giveaway. Get your pop chat fix because we're going to take a little break and I'll see you in August. But thank you all so much. We're going to announce who won today's giveaway, and then you still have one more chance to win. And thank you all for your input and your brilliance and your personalities, your humor, your fun. All of you are amazing. And I'm so happy I started posting and you all found me on the internet. So thank you so much. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate that. Happy Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. All right. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned for the winner. Thanks again to Hootsuite. And everyone have a great weekend. Yeah, like Margaret said, have a great weekend. And I'll see you all soon. Bye.